Good evening, y'all. We are here for the Association 2023 Rookie Draft. I'm your host, Dr. Dane Diddy. We got our distinguished professor, Killanomics, is in the building. And we got the tank master himself from Rucker Park,
I did that to myself for sure.
Man, Tank Commander over there.
the Knicks tape.
Oh man.
Let's get into this, man. We're gonna reveal these picks and
Can we pause right there? I feel like you forgot something from my introduction.
what did I forget?
I mean, come on, fellas.
Oh,
We're
oh, oh,
amongst
oh, oh, oh,
greatness
oh,
right
oh,
now.
oh, oh.
I don't know what you're
Okay,
talking
okay,
about.
okay. Let me
Come
back up. Let
on.
me back up. You're right. You're right. You're
Come
right.
on.
You're right. You're right.
Like,
You're
I,
right.
like
You're
I
right. You're right. You're right. No,
understand,
no, no, no. You're right. Let me back up. Let me back up.
Odin put
We
together
the tank
a,
master we
a
had.
fabulous.
You got me, the resident repeat loser, and then we got our defending champion from the Brooklyn Phoenix in the building,
In the building, in the flesh.
in the flesh. The
Hide
Brooklyn.
that Brooklyn jersey, that Brooklyn hoodie.
But what do you
Oh,
have? What do
They
you
come
ain't
got?
win
on.
nothing.
So what you got behind you,
Oh,
man? What you got
That- What,
behind you?
what,
you
what do you?
know,
I think I saw a little
um,
blue and orange in your background. What's that?
nah, man. It's just to match like the background. Wifey.
Can we
Stay
see it?
trying
Can
to
we
trying to
Yeah, we
can
gotta
we
see
see
what's
it?
going on behind you, bro.
Can we
Gotta
see
see.
trying
it?
to see what I'm sitting on right now.
Yeah, can you
Uh,
do you mind? Oh,
Oh, we got a closet Knicks fan over here, man.
can
oh,
you can you
closet
can
Nick
you pick that
fan.
up? Can you pick that up?
Nah,
Let's
man,
see
I
that.
ain't got time to be picking up Nick's
You gotta see what
paraphernalia.
you
let's
gotta
let's
pick it
get
up.
to it. So, we're gonna just reveal the draft order really quickly. We got the Rucker Park Busters, of course, at number one, followed by somehow the Brooklyn Phoenix defending champions, who got their pick from I believe it uh, was that King's Landing's pick?
That was
It was
correct.
originally owned by King's Landing, and you got it in a trade. Um, and I feel like somehow I feel like that should have been my pick, but I won't go into that right now. That's another story for another day. We'll get to that someday. All right. So 1 through 16. Here's the draft order, and really quickly, we're gonna put the Rucker Park Busters on the clock. I don't think it should take too long for this pick, but let's just go through our mock draft pick. So this year we're doing something a little new. We're not gonna go with predictions. We're just gonna show you off the bat what our predictions were for everyone. And of course, we see at number one, uh, Wemby across the board. And we're gonna check in later on to see how we're doing with these picks. We're gonna check in at the end to see, which of us really had the strongest mock draft and really knows the league, at its best. So
We'll
I'll
get it.
back to this. So for the first pick in the draft, the Rucker Park select Taylor Hendricks. Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah.
Now, Odin, I know you wanted to do the Slim Towers. Tell us about this pick here.
I feel like this pick is punishment for me tanking.
Tell us what you like about Taylor, man.
Uh, let's see. What I like about Taylor Hendricks, not a damn thing. It better be Wemby in there. It better be Wemby on there.
I mean, I think one thing we can
It's
say is that Taylor would probably be healthy. He'll probably have a healthy career.
oh man.
I
Well,
mean, that's what.
Victor Wembanyama is the pick,
That's
and
fair. Taylor won't blow out his
congratulations.
knee in summer league.
You although you tanked your way to the bottom, I will say that you did make the correct pick of the San Antonio Spurs to actually solidify this pick. So kudos to you. As a I guess as a gift, we've named the anti-tanking policy after the Busters. We now have the Busters rule, and hopefully we won't see too much of that anymore in the future. So
Yeah.
congratulations on Victor Wembanyama. Killer, why don't you give us a little bit of a grade? I mean, it sounds like you were all in on this pick, and as was I.
I mean, yeah, I
It's an
mean,
A
like it's an
plus.
A plus,
It's an
man.
A
Like you
plus.
don't have to follow basketball
We
to
can
to
move
to
on from here.
choose
We can
Wemby.
move on from here. But
But
the one question
but
I have, yeah, okay.
yeah, no, I've
Tell me a
a
little
lot of
bit.
people.
Tell me a little bit about what you think is as far as like the health and the I guess the sustainability of a player like
So
this.
so two players come to mind with Wemby. His floor is probably Porzingis, and his ceiling, I'm thinking Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant with better handle. Um, I think one of the challenges is he's taller than both of those individuals, and they've both struggled with like knee and foot injuries. Um, and it's naturally going to be taller for him to create space, right? And we see that a lot right now in Kevin Durant's game. So I'm really kind of interested to see how his body holds up in the NBA. But I think um, from a player comps perspective, I think Porzingis at worst, Kevin Durant, he's got an opportunity to be
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
with even better defense. Like he's already got the defense now, right? Like it's
Right.
just something about the French and defense.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I really like the Porzingis pick. I think he could be a better version of that. Kevin Durant, I just don't see the speed being there to kind of elevate him into that level of scorer. But
Yeah, I agree
you
with
know,
that.
I I like those comps. So let's move on to the defending champs, Brooklyn Phoenix, and our mock suggests that there's only one pick here. Um, would you like to do the honors, Killer?
No, I'll let Nick's tape announce the pick.
With the second pick,
Okay.
2023 rookie draft, the Brooklyn Phoenix select.
Oops.
Scoot.
Ooh,
So
what do you
so
think?
my take on this pick is that I said and Phoenix isn't dumb like Jordan and the the Charlotte staff, right? So
Mm.
you grab Scoot, you enjoy him dunking all over the competition. The dude is certified, man. He's a certified trash talker. He's a certified he seems like a him right off the bat. You know what I mean? We're talking cut from the same cloth as Anthony Edwards type, um type swag. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have swag like that and athleticism the way he does, it's hard. It's going to be hard to miss, in my opinion.
What I really like about Scoot is that he's already trademarked several of his coin phrases, the acronym. Can't think of it on the top of my head, but he's also trademarked the word Scoot, which this man is about his
Nice,
money. I like that.
nice.
I like his
Okay,
mentality. I like what he's doing. So great pick. Congratulations to the Brooklyn Phoenix on that. Let's move on to Titanes de San Juan, our defending
Good.
champions from 2 years ago. Um, what were your thoughts on what this pick should be, and why'd you pick it?
all right.
Uh,
So no,
yeah.
go ahead, Killer.
I'm thinking Killian Hayes probably. Killian Hayes definitely is the pick here. Um, it just makes a
Shot.
whole lot of sense
It's a shot to the 20.
in this spot.
What was that? 29. What draft was that? 2020, 20.
I think
Yeah, we
2021. Yeah, 2021, because it was the or
a
it might
lot
have
of
been 2020.
controversy around that draft. We'll just leave it at that. But why do you like this pick, Odin? What do you think? Why do you think this is a good fit for Titanis?
So so the way I'm looking at it is, when this guy pull up my stuff. All right, so he has a ton of guards right now, right? So that made me think he wouldn't go for Amen, right? I feel like personally, Amen belongs at this spot rather than Brandon Miller. But he's been Tatiana's been locked in on football this early, right? So the man isn't really focused on basketball. So he's just going to look at the draft order and say, "Oh, they missed him. They, somebody didn't pick the number 2 player, so I'm gonna pick him here at number 3 and think he got a steal." So that's what I think is going on.
All right.
I don't think Brandon Miller should be the pick here personally, but I think that's what he's going to do.
All right. Well, let's see what the pick is, and it is Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller goes to Titanes de San Juan. Personally, I believe this manager is located in North Carolina and Charlotte. I think this is a hometown pick. That adds some value to the pick. I think for some people. Um, but I agree with what you said. This is a number 2 pick. By the experts, who now dropped to number 3. So,
yep.
You gotta hope there's some value there to gain from getting Brandon Miller here. Let's move on to the Steve Blake Express. They've got 2 picks in this draft, and where do you see this team going, Killer?
So this team has a very particular build and direction that they like to go, targeting some of the defensive stats, rebounds, turnovers, and high field goal percentage. So I think any player that promises to bring strength in those 5 categories is a huge target for Steve Blake Express. So I'm thinking, one of the twins, fits here. He can go Amen, he can go Asar. Either Thompson twin would be perfect. Maybe he looks for some synergy. We play, in multiple leagues, and he's already got Asar Thompson in one league. So maybe he decides, let's just go all in, don't have to learn both twins type of a thing. But I did just go, Amen, just because, that's kind of been the consensus top twin, of the 2.
Well, pick is in. Let's see what we got. And it is Amen.
Amen.
What do you think about this pick, Odin?
I think it's a great pick. Amen seems to be the type of player that he needs, right? That's just like Killer said. I was clocking Amen from the jump, and just like Killer said, he's a high field goal, low free throw guy. Stocks machine, triple double threat. And then you couple the fact that he has, I think he has Ben Simmons in this league too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But he's been pining over those kind of players, the low scoring, but does everything else, and also have multiple position eligibility. So he'll probably have 3 position eligibility if they play him the way they should be playing him. So he should be, point guard, shooting guard, small forward type situation over there in Houston. So
yeah, this is a really talented guy. I like what I've seen from him. And as you mentioned, he's top 3 prospect in this draft, I think. Fits the build minus the field goal percentage probably, but I really like the pick here for him, man. Let's move on. Chicago Sunroofers are on the clock. This is a new manager who has taken over, has bought the rights from the Bimtown Celtics, and now we've taken the team over to Chicago to rebuild the franchise. They've already made a splash in the offseason, moving away guys like Luka, Booker, and really reshaping the look of this team around Zion Williamson. What are your guesses here? Well, I guess we don't need to guess, but I think you both, and all 3 of us perhaps have went with Asar Thompson. Why do you like this pick for the Sunroofers, Killer?
Oh, I went with Jarris Walker.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did. Yeah, you did
for
win
him
Jarris Walker.
here.
Yeah, tell us about that. Why are you looking at Jarris Walker here?
He seemed pretty loaded at the guard position, and Jarris Walker seemed to provide that kind of forward or big position that I felt like he needed.
Okay.
A
So this was
little
a
bit of a wild card because I don't have a history and know what type of players he likes, but just looking at the roster, like that seemed like a pretty good upside pick for him there.
got it. Well, let's see what the pick was. And in fact, it was Asar Thompson, the other twin,
Mm.
the other Thompson twin. Similar attributes as a man, but thought to be perhaps a better shooter in some regards. Um, maybe a better overall kind of player, I think. Maybe not as athletically gifted, but still very an elite athlete nonetheless. Dean, what do you think about this pick here?
Well, Osar isn't projected to play guard. He's projected as a forward, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah, wing
So
player. I'd say a
yeah,
wing player, yeah.
wing, right? So
Mhm.
the way I looked at it was, he has a point guard slot locked up, just like Killer said. And he added Lamelo, and he got Ja Wick as well. So he's
Yep.
he's good to go.
Guns and buns.
Guns and buns, boy.
Guns
Oh
and
yeah,
buns
he
continue.
has Zion, don't he?
Yes, he
Guns and
does.
buns.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that
Yes,
synergy,
he
Yeah.
man.
does.
Everybody loves that synergy.
Yep. Yes, he
Who's the
does.
player comp do you got that you guys compare Asar Thompson to? Or just both the twins, just in general? Like if you had to choose an NBA player to describe
Hmm.
both players, say, let's be optimistic and think ceiling for both.
Who I think about when I see men, for example, I'll group in Asar in this, but I think about a young Sean Livingston,
Mm.
6'7" point guard, plays both guard positions, very athletic. Sean Livingston was super athletic when he
Yeah,
when
he
he
was
just got in the
nice.
league,
Yep.
and super talented. I think he was probably more offensively gifted than either of these guys, but I like Sean Livingston as a comp here, young Sean Livingston. Yeah. What do you?
Mm. If I'm listening to this live right now and you tell me a player I just drafted at 4, I'm just gonna be Sean
Yep. Oh,
Livingston.
Sean
I
Livingston was
am,
a top lottery pick
He
in
was
his
I am,
draft.
nasty until he injured himself, man.
When he got a nasty injury, he was
Yep.
nice. Sean
Yep.
Livingston was nasty. What you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, you
I
gotta be lying.
agree. I agree. But if we're talking about like top 100 fantasy player, I don't think Sean Livingston was ever there. I mean, we can look
Just
into
because
the
of the
history
injury.
books
Because of the injury.
Just
He
because
because
of the
of
got
the
injury. Yeah.
what
injuries.
he got? What he got? He injured what
His knee, like his knee
his first or
snapped.
second year?
That's
I think it was
that's
second year.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
think it was a year after his rookie year, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we could
So
look it up and figure it out, but
But that
I
makes
don't
me
know.
think that you guys probably think that this guy's going to get injured. The fact that you're thinking about Sean,
He's
like
a high.
Sean
Oh,
Livingston was a player that I had as his floor. Like I said, worst
okay.
case, he doesn't make it. Sean
But you're
Livingston.
talking about Sean Livingston after the injury.
right.
You talking about Golden State Sean
No,
Livingston.
I'm just saying career wise, like that's the guy. Like if I'm projecting him from year zero to when
I
he was
wasn't,
hitting
yeah,
money
okay.
jump shots at
I
the free
wasn't,
throw
I don't want
line.
to project people's career, but I could just see a player,
Like play style. Play
player style,
style. Yeah.
player
Yeah.
Uh,
attributes. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with Sean Livingston.
Yeah. So what's
What's
wild is that
what's your ceiling? What's your ceiling guy then? If Sean Livingston's your floor, who's your ceiling?
I see John Billy Wall, man. I see John Billy Wall, man.
Oh, I don't see
Like
that at
he's
all.
got the quickness, he's got the athleticism. He
Mm.
doesn't have the jump shot. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. Can play a little bit more D than John Wall, but I see John Wall
That's
and
the other thing
Amen,
with
and
Sean
then
Livingston, excellent defender.
I agree. I agree, which is why I had him
Yeah.
at the floor, right? Right. Like I think, at a minimum,
But
he
I will
should.
say this: Sean Livingston at his peak against John Wall at his peak. I, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little higher on Sean Livingston, but I feel like if Sean Livingston did not have that freak injury, he would have been way better than John Wall.
personally, I didn't think we saw enough out of Livingston to be able to compare him to John Wall. I think John Wall's peak is substantially higher, but I think Sean Livingston definitely had a chance to
We
get
only
there.
say that because we saw John Wall live out his career. Like,
Right, right, right.
but
But
Wow.
my player count for Osar was Sean Livingston or Chris Middleton. those are the two
Hmm.
that I had. Right,
Chris
Sean
Middleton's
Livingston at pick
interesting one.
4,
Ooh.
Chris Middleton
You
as
know
a
who actually that Chris Middleton. I mean, Chris Middleton is my comp for Brandon Miller. I think that's his ceiling.
I got Danny Grange to Paul George for Brandon
I
Miller.
actually like Danny Granger as a comp too.
Yep. Yeah, Danny Granger
Um,
is pretty much where I was thinking as
that's a
well.
good one.
and
I
and
think
then I
that's his.
saw I got Andre Iguodala and possibly
Hmm.
Drew Holiday.
Okay, I
Like
like
Drew
that. I
Holiday.
like
But
Iguodala.
Drew Holiday is gonna
Drew
be really
Holiday.
hard for him.
Whoa.
It's gonna be really hard for him to get to because of his defense.
Yeah.
Like defensively, like he locks
Yeah.
down.
And Iguodala offensively was far ahead of what Asar Thompson is right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
People
let's move
forget
on
about
to
Philly.
the Miami Money Men. Money Men, sixth pick here. A lot of movement going on. They've made a lot of moves over this last year. Giannis is their focal player. What what was your pick here? Oh, Dan, what were you predicting for him?
So I put Money Men down as grabbing Taylor Hendricks here.
Okay,
Right.
why'd you like Taylor Hendricks there?
So I looked at Moneyman's roster, and he's lacking in his forward slot, right? So he has Drew Holiday, Simons, CJ McCollum, holding down his guard spot. Then he has Jalen McDaniels and Andrew Wiggins at the small forward spot, small forward, power forward. So Taylor Hendricks would slot in perfectly there to give him a nice young forward to build off of. Then
Okay.
also the fact that Taylor Hendricks is with Utah, he should get a decent amount of burn, and that should help out. So that's where I put him at.
Okay. I like the pick. I like the reasoning. Let's see what the pick was.
Yeah.
Jet Howard was the pick.
Hey.
Killer.
Yo,
Killer. Give us your thoughts.
Yo, does Jet Howard come with Jawan Howard? Like, does he get his father with the pick too?
Bro.
Because he's gonna need some
Wow.
coaching and advising too.
At 6 though?
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, so I take it you're shocked at the pick.
I mean, nothing really shocks me in association, but I mean, this is this is pretty close.
That's egregious, man. No.
I mean, I can't say it's egregious because I mean, it does look like Jet Howard will be, ready day one.
Yeah, what's your comp for Jet? Killer.
Uh, Bogdanovich,
Which one?
Bojan,
Bojan that
Boj-
plays on the Detroit.
yeah.
Oh
I don't
man.
know. Bojan is a playmaker. I don't see that in Jet. I don't
Jet's
see
just
that
a
in
I think
Jet
shooter,
right
right?
now.
he's
Jet is
got the
just a
shooting.
straight up
Yeah,
shooter.
he's just a shooter right now.
Jet is just a straight up shooter. I
But
mean,
Bogdanovich, he started out that way in Utah, right? Like he didn't really have playmaking opportunities with D.
he didn't
Mitchell.
have the opportunities, but he had the skill.
That's fair.
I don't know. I mean, I think people. I mean, Jet will tell you that I think he can do a lot more on the court than maybe we've seen, but he's got NBA pedigree, as you mentioned. His dad, Juwan Howard. We'll see what happens here, but I mean, definitely higher than I would have expected to see Jet Howard's name called. But Moneyman's clearly looking for some shooting to add to his squad. And you've mentioned, guys like Wiggins, probably has McCollum coming off the books this year. Drew Holiday's still there, and he's got Simons. So I don't
He's
know.
definitely shooting.
Does Odin? You think Jet Howard sees the floor this year as far as being a starter in the association?
Nah.
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
he's bench.
Yeah, but it's okay. A lot of these guys are going to be bench players.
Yep.
It's their first year, so
Yep.
let's move on to
I do have a question though.
Okay.
Can you or did you ever do a review of how we did last year? When we're laughing at people's picks last year, were we wrong? You see what I'm saying? So,
We're gonna have
and
to,
we need
I feel like it's only fair to do that. Maybe I'll give it 2 years before
to.
we
Okay,
yeah. I feel like
okay,
it's only fair to
fair.
do that like 2 years in advance. But
Yeah,
we gotta give these guys some time. But
yep,
it would be interesting. We should definitely have a show like that. Episode where we kind of go through the last few
yep.
drafts.
Yeah, just see
Um,
how dumb we really were.
we got Syracuse on the clock. They're making 3 picks tonight. These are now what 5 picks in the last 2 years. So youth movement definitely going on in Syracuse. Did you have who did you mock to go here, Odin?
I had him picking Jerace Walker here. So
Okay.
again, team full of guards. He needs a center and forward position pretty badly. So
Yeah.
he did a pretty good job of filling out of filling out his center spot with Sengun. I feel like he's going to continue to shore up his center spot or forward spot with Jerace. And now, really, the question that will come into my mind is coming into the season is did he draft or did he trade for the next Joker or did he trade for the next Cantor, right? So, but
That's
that's as
that's
far as Sengun goes. So,
well, we'll see what the pick is here. And Anthony Black. This was actually my pick
yeah.
for Sparrows. I mean, one of those positions lacking, I think, is they don't quite have a lead guard, and they've got 3 picks in this draft, so why not go for a guy who people potentially believe can be a lead guard in the NBA and Anthony Black, take a chance on him. Um, what do you think about this pick, Killer?
I just find it funny that his teammate, right, which was drafted later in the draft, in the real NBA draft, Chet Howard, after
Mm,
him. They kind of reverse course in the association draft. It
yeah,
just
gotta
shows you,
love it.
we kind of we live in
Gotta
that
love it.
fantasy world.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I think the pick is solid. Like
Yeah.
Anthony Black
Yep.
he projects pretty well.
Yeah. I like the pick.
Um,
I think it's solid.
I
Not
think
not
Yeah.
team fit, but it's a nice pick.
I think and player comps, I've got Josh Giddey, or
Hmm.
he doesn't develop a jump shot or doesn't really care much about it. Then Ben
Hmm.
Simmons is probably what he becomes.
Ben
Yeah.
Simmons. That's
You
those
know,
are
look,
those are high praises. A guy who I think about when I see Anthony Black, not in terms of his stature, but I think of Andre Miller. I don't know if you guys remember Andre Miller, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Andre
I remember
Miller was
Andre. That's a good
one of
one.
Slow
yeah,
and heady. Yep.
slowly,
Hmm.
not too athletic, and this guy has a lot of. I mean, this guy's like 6'7" or something like that.
Yep.
I mean, in terms, I've seen the way he carries himself on the court. I think he's got a lot of potential there as far as being one of those guys that you look at and say he could probably be a coach one day.
Hmm.
But most of those guys don't turn out to be stars. And I don't know that I see star potential in Anthony Black, but I mean, you know, he's going to his crowded backcourt in Orlando. A lot of people knock him on that, but I mean, he's got something. He was picked number 6 overall, I think, in the NBA draft. So someone believes in him. So I like the pick here.
Yep.
We got the New York Knickerbockers coming up next. Killer, what are your thoughts on where this team should go?
Uh, so I think this team desperately needs a big. Vooch is getting pretty old, pretty expensive. Um, he's got a prime opportunity to get, one of the top bigs, with Jarris Walker, falling. Taylor Hendricks is still there. And of course, Derek Lively. So I think he should certainly pounce on a big here.
And
He's got
who did you mock to go here?
So I mocked Taylor Hendricks, but given that Jarris Walker is still on the board, I think that's more than likely the pick here.
And that is who I mocked to go here as well. but Taylor Hendricks is the man. So, Dean,
Yeah.
I think you got this one right. Why'd you have Taylor Hendricks going here?
Well, no, actually, I had Cam Whitmore going here, but
Oh, my bad. Okay.
yeah. So
No, I had Hendricks.
Oh, you had Hendricks. Oh,
Luckily.
I'm sorry. I know. I think
Yeah.
one of you had
yeah,
Hendricks. Yeah.
yeah. What? No, cuz didn't want to hear from me this year, man, because I said him wrong 2 years in a row. So it wasn't on purpose, but I believed, I told him that Dyson Daniels and Suggs were the last out of the last two drafts were the picks to go with, and I still believe in them, but they ain't showing up. So cuz froze me out on any advice for this draft and
Yeah.
went on.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
Now,
You don't
now,
you don't have to watch him in the lineup every day.
no, we didn't we didn't
Like,
see we didn't see this guy during Taylor Hendricks, but I mean during the summer league. But Killer, did you have a like a mock? I mean a comp for him?
yeah, I think Antoine Jameson, like
Mm,
he's got
I like that.
Anton Jameson. Really?
yeah, he's got a lot of good moves, footwork, he can handle it.
Oh,
He's just really offensively skilled. They kind of have the same kind of body archetype. Um,
huh.
and then kind of floor, I'm thinking Jeremy Grant. Like I think he can be Jeremy Grant, right? He's already got the shooting, right? And it took Jeremy Grant, a lot longer, right, to progress his game to where it got to today.
Hmm.
So I think those two guys are like well within reason.
Okay.
I see you scratching your head over there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't see that kind of offensive talent from Taylor Hendricks. When I think about Anton Jameson, who was a beast offensively coming out of college, and same thing with Grant. I mean, Grant didn't wasn't I wouldn't Grant was more of like a utility guy, but you could tell he had some offensive skill. Different build, different level of. He was just a really good athlete, I thought.
Yeah.
Taylor Hendricks, my floor for him actually is like reminds me so much of Jonathan Isaac for some reason.
Hmm.
He's got a similar build to Jonathan Isaac. To me, he's like this lanky guy who can do, a bunch of things on the floor, but I don't see really any polish from him offensively. He could shoot for sure. He's a good catch and shoot player. And then on the defensive side, he can really block shots, but I don't I don't know, man. Offensively, I don't really see this the level of score that Anton Jameson would be. I think his ceiling would be more like I don't know. I can't even think, but I'm thinking of guys like Jalen McDaniels, guys like that. I see more of that kind of player in Taylor Hendricks, but I could be wrong, but I like what he can do on the floor if he can do it. He just seems a little raw to me, but we
I
didn't
mean,
see him in summer league, so
he shot 40% from three, right?
yeah,
In
he
college.
did.
So, I mean, he averaged like 15.7 boards. So he has some scoring potential to him. I do like the Jonathan Isaacs comp. I think that's pretty close to where he could be.
Hmm.
Maybe a little bit more scoring than Isaacs. But
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah, and yeah, seriously. But he seems like he's gonna project to be a 1-1-1 guy. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. All right, so we're halfway through. We got Steve Blake Express back on the clock. But let's take a look and see how we're kind of doing so far with our mock drafts. First four picks we all nailed, and then looks like me and Dean kind of continued on with the Asar pick. Kyle, you didn't the only two we got right after that was Anthony Black and Taylor Hendricks. So looks like I'm in the lead right now. Um
mhm.
with just by one. But yeah, we've pretty much kind of after the top four or five, we just don't know what we're talking about from here. So, yeah. Or they don't know what they're doing with these picks. I
They
don't
don't know
know
what they're
what
doing. That's
they.
what it is.
They
I'm gonna go
definitely
with that
don't.
one. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go with that one. All right. So we got Steve Blake coming up next. Clearly, Anthony Black is not gonna go next. So, we'll see if the pick is Bilal Koulibaly, and it is. It's
That's it.
Koulibaly. Um, why did you pick Koulibaly here, Odin?
Defensive special, man. That's Steve Blake's MO, right? So like he loves his defense, he loves his blocks, he loves his stocks, you know. So and then he took so long to turn on this year as well, you know. Like Steve Blake himself, like he refused to activate and get into draft mode and all that stuff. So I feel like he's going to be cheating off of the list of other people. So he gets the next highest person available on the
Okay,
NBA draft order.
that's
That's how
fair.
I look at it.
Because Koulibaly was what, the number 8 pick, 7 pick, something like that?
You
7 pick.
think it's 7 pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Seven.
So could be some value here, getting him at number 9.
Yep.
But he's young, super young. What do you think about this pick, Killer?
I think it's an excellent pick. I mean, he's got, you know, like basement type floor and like sky high ceiling.
Yep.
You
Do
know,
you
I
have a
think he
comp?
could be, yeah, I think he could be, you know, anywhere from Gerald Green to to Giannis,
Giannis.
to
Giannis.
Giannis. He's a
Giannis.
great freak.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sky high.
High
Yeah.
praise. So,
Huge
yeah,
variance.
yeah, really good draft so far for Steve Blake Express with coming away with Amen Thompson and Bilal Coulibaly. You know, two guys who probably won't play as much this year, but certainly have high potential. So I like the picks. So we got Solid State on the clock. Um, any thoughts on where you think Solid State should go in this pick, Killer?
You know, Solid State's got a good like core roster. He's kind of got guards, he's got forwards, he's got centers, he's got big. So I think kind of best available is a good spot here. You know, I projected him to choose Cam Whitmore. Um, but knowing him, you know, Mark Williams kind of scored last year, so maybe he kind of follows that trend and goes with Derek Lively, right? Kind of
Hmm.
following kind of the NBA draft
Another
kind
Duke
of
center.
orders. So
Okay.
I would say he probably chooses Derek Lively. But wait a minute. Jarris Walker continues to fall.
Terrence Walker is
so
falling.
so
I'm
he
shocked.
eventually has to get picked and maybe it's maybe yeah, Solid State definitely takes Jarris Walker here.
Someone always drops, and in this case, it is Jarris Walker
Yeah,
going to
Oh,
Solid State. I
yeah.
think that is an excellent, excellent fit there
amazing
for.
pick.
Yeah, I mean, I really like what Jarris Walker showed. Just little rough shooting wise, but I think he could eventually get there. And what's interesting to me about him, I look at his build. I can't help but to think about Anthony Bennett, but a defensive version of him. Um, I think if Anthony Bennett would have been drafted later in the draft, he could have had probably a better career, less expectations, that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know anything about his work ethic, but Jarvis Walker, this dude is like a tank, bro. Like,
Mhm.
and he's really smart on the defensive end, really good stuff that he can do on the defensive end. Projected to maybe develop a 3-point shot. It's not there yet, but um, what do you think about this pick, Odin?
I think that's a plus pick. A plus pick. Yeah, Jarris Walker. He's another guy that could potentially get you 1-1-1, right? So like his defensive awareness seems to be locked in. He's not as good as a rebounder as I'd like for the forward position,
Hmm.
but if he's able to shoot around 34, 35% from three, And being 19 years old, like, and he's gonna get a ton of opportunity in Washington. So, hey, he might be a day one starter for the team,
That
for
that
solid state.
that would be something. I actually had him going as high as number 8 in this mock, but NBA experts I think had him could potentially going anywhere between 4 and 8 or something like that. So pretty dope. Pretty dope pick.
Good value there. So we got Syracuse back on the clock, making your second pick of this draft. Oh, Dean, would you have mm, Syracuse going here?
I had him getting lively. Um, I had him getting lively because his he locked in his forward pick with his well, excuse me. I expected him to lock in his forward pick with Jarvis Walker, the previous pick.
Mm,
So I figured he'd continue with his front court and get a center here. But I mean, he grabbed the guard. He grabbed the guard, so he has a young set at guard now. So why not fill out his front court? So I'm still sticking with Lively.
I like that pick. I like that pick. Um, let's see what it was. Kason
Jason,
Wallace
another
from
guard. Okay.
Kentucky guard, Oklahoma City guy now. Killer, what do you think about this pick?
I mean, I like it, right? Kentucky guard. I'm surprised by it because of the roster fit, but I mean, you could never have too many guards, right? Like they're typically an easy position to kind of swing out. I mean, he replaces his previous OKC kind of guard forward in J-Dub. Um
Mm,
and I really like Cason Wallace. I'm a big Cason Wallace guy. I think,
I am too.
for
Yep.
player comps, I've got him, down to Emmanuel quickly, right? New York Knicks,
Mm,
Yep.
all the way up to, Drew Holiday, another common name that I'm throwing around today.
I like that. I like that comp.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
can see.
I like what Kason can do, and hopefully he gets some burn this year. I've heard some feedback like, it might be a little difficult for him to crack the road. I mean, not crack the rotation, but they've got a few guards there that will be getting a lot of playing time. So we'll see what happens there with Kason. I agree though. I think I would have it would it, I think Lively would have been an interesting pick there, but I don't mind this pick at all for I think this is a good spot for him to go to.
My only issue with this pick is that makes him have 8 point guard shooting guards on his roster.
Mm.
Well,
What do you do with that?
well,
You better get to trading.
it's been an active trade season, off
Yep.
season in the association, so perhaps we will see some more moves being made after
Yep.
these picks are revealed. Um, New manager on the clock, taking over for the True Grit, Donegal True Grit. Little Van City has come in and really made a big wave with all the moves that he's made so far. Um, I don't even remember who's on his team anymore, to be honest. Like I think he almost flipped his whole roster, I think, right? Um,
Pretty close to it.
but the Grizzlies are on the clock. What do you see here for this team, Killer?
So I had him, I mocked him down for Keontae George. I felt like he could be picking anywhere from Keontae George to all the way to Cason Wallace, but with Derek Lively still on the board.
So the Grizzlies pick is in, and we are going with Cam Whitmore.
Yeah. Okay.
Cam Whitmore,
Wow.
Summer League MVP. I had Cam personally. I thought Cam was gonna go number 6 in this draft. I thought this was a money man pick for sure. I was like almost certain. I thought this was a money man pick. I thought, but Cam dropping all the way to number 12. Was this a surprise to you, Odin? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a big surprise. I well, if the board went the way I expected it to go, it would have been a surprise, right? Because I expected Cam to go much higher,
Hmm.
and not to be available at Van City's spot. So
Hmm.
um, I would assume, you know, I had Cam 8 in my lineup here as far as who was going to pick him. But as far as my overall rookie rankings, Cam was up there around the fifth or sixth spot as well. So
Hmm.
I think it's a great pick. It's a great
Right.
pick. It's a lot of scoring that's going to come out of this guy.
Yeah, add into the talent in Van City. Killer, what's your grade for this pick?
I think it's an excellent uh pick. I mean, Villanova, right? Like just trust Villanova. I mean, you're
Hmm.
getting a player that I think at his worst is probably like Justice Winslow, right? And Justice Winslow was a great NBA player. I mean, he just struggled with injuries, right? And that's kind of one of the reasons why Cam, kind of fell down the board. Or he could be Jerry Stackhouse. Jerry Stackhouse, I have a soft
Nah,
spot for because that
Mm,
was like one of the first sneakers I had
Jerry
growing up as a
Stackhouse.
kid. Jerry
that's
Stackhouse,
I
man.
like
Yeah,
that.
rocking those felines.
I
yeah.
actually really like that.
Yep, I had his Grizzlies jersey, man.
Mhm.
That thing was fire.
Yeah. You mentioned
Still, man.
you mentioned just because you mentioned Justice Winslow, but that's actually one of my comps for Asar Thompson. Um Justice Winslow I thought was you know, a similar type of player. Um Probably would have had a better career if he had more had was more healthy, but
Yeah.
hopefully Asar is a little bit more healthy. All right, so let's move on to King's Landing. Um should have had the number two pick in this draft, potentially, or at least a top three pick in this draft. But made a lot of moves last year. Um, still has some talent in there. It's got Shea as probably their best player on the roster right now. Um, my sources were telling me that they wanted to add some shooting to this roster. So, got a few guys left. Personally, I was looking at your boy Hawkins from UConn. And you know, I think this manager lives in the in that region, not quite Connecticut, but that northeast, Massachusetts, New England area. So I figured maybe UConn was a big influence up there. So what did you have for this pick, Killer? Who did you think was the pick here?
So I had Case and Wallace, right? But clearly, right, that's not going to happen. The
Hmm.
next player I would have chosen is probably Keontae George, right? Because he's like a prolific scorer. Um, so yeah,
Okay. All
that's what I
right.
was thinking for him.
Well, the pick is in. Ooh.
Oh, I, uh,
Well,
I don't.
O'Dane,
Pause.
give us give us your give us your commentary. Give us your commentary on this pick, O'Dane.
So,
What do you like about this pick?
so
Pause.
I'm not a big fan of Dick, man. I'm just not. so so I mean, I guess he has some holes to fill. And he chose Dick to fill them.
Oh God. Oh God.
So, I mean, honestly, Grady Dick, he's a shooter, right? He's a shooter. The dude, I guess that's what Kings Landon was going for. I don't think he really has opportunity to do much right now on Toronto unless Toronto
Mm,
blows it up.
mm.
So, um, Dick is going to be riding the bench.
Hey, okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I see some basketball IQ here is what I'm hearing about grade A. And of course his shooting, but apparently this guy knows how to be in the right place at the right time on the floor. So you know, I I personally I'm out on Grady. The suit at draft day. You guys know I'm a suit guy. Jalen Green did the same thing.
Yep.
I saw the suit and I was like, I'm out. For that for the I'm out on Grady. The suit didn't do it for me, and actually it really annoyed me. So I'm staying far from Grady. But I wish him the best. In Toronto. Let's move on to the Cranston dynasty. Coming off of a crushing loss in the playoffs to my Great Danes.
You have to point out it's a self-proclaimed dynasty, right? So there's no dynasty actually there. So we want to make that
Yeah.
clear. Make that
And
clear.
I do not acknowledge that team as dynasty. I acknowledge them. They are on my list as Cranston killers.
What are they killing?
Absolutely not.
All right. Well,
Absolutely not.
well, looks like we got a problem either way. So, who did you have going here, Odin?
I had him taking Dick at this point.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm a child, yo. Um, I figured Grady. I figured Grady was going to be the pick for him. But obviously he's off the book. So I'm gonna say that he grabs Lively here. Um, I think Lively would be an amazing pick at this point.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
yeah, he's got some decisions to make with Jared Allen numbers looking pretty high right now. Will he keep Jared to be his fill in that center position, or will a guy like Lively come in? Now, do you think Lively's going to get a lot of playing time this first year?
personally, yes, I
Okay.
think so. Yes.
Okay.
Dallas has such a massive need for a center. They've needed a center since Tyson Chandler. I think they're gonna give him every opportunity to be that. And I think his competition being Rashawn Holmes, it's not a competition,
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
um, I think if he's not starting by January, I'll be shocked.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Well, let's see what the pick was. Keontae George. So another, talented scoring guy to throw in with Trey Young and Tatum, you know, D'Angelo Russell's there. Um, Pascal Siakam. So a lot of offensive firepower, continuing that trend. So I think that, I mean, it's potentially a really interesting pick. I mean, I do think they need a big, but what do you think about this pick, Killer?
I like Keontae a lot. He showed a lot during summer league.
Yep.
I think he could be anywhere from like a Jordan Clarkson, hilarious, right? Because that's the team that he's playing on with Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Eric Gordon, like maybe he can better his game and become Eric Gordon at a later point.
Now, Dean, you thought maybe Grady was going to be the pick here. Just out of curiosity, who's your comp for Grady?
So
Um,
Grady, I mean, I see Grady as pretty much um, a shooter with not much defensive acumen to him. And y'all gonna flame me for this, but I would put him alongside like a Tyler Hero type guy, and not just because they
That's
share the
offensive.
same.
you
Not
do it
just
too
That's
because.
much.
offensive.
You do it too
That's
much.
offensive.
He's clearly he's
That's
clearly
offensive.
oh man.
Yeah.
Oh
Listen,
man.
I don't
Tyler
have Tyler
Hero.
Hero in a very high regard the way most people do. I think Tyler Hero's a bum, personally. Okay?
Okay,
That's
thank you. Tell me what you think about my player.
personally. Like, the
My
dude,
guy Nick's tape. Because both players are Caucasian, you grouping them together? What are we doing here? What are we
I
doing
pull
here?
I pull
Both
a
players are
Jalen Rose.
Caucasian and they can shoot.
I pull a Jalen Rose on
Okay, Kyle.
it.
Okay, Kyle. Name a black guy you think Grady
Oh, I've got two
is
black
on.
guys and two
Okay,
black
let's
guys
let's
with
hear him.
with the same name, the same first name.
Okay.
So floor, I'm thinking Reggie Bullock. Like Reggie Bullock, like that seems very easy for
Okay.
him to be in the league.
Okay.
Like Reggie Bullock should be like at a minimum.
Okay.
Um, Ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people might catch a little bit of offense, and I mean, maybe it's a little bit much, but I think Reggie Miller. I think he could be Reggie Miller.
Whoa.
I think Miller time, right? He's
Whoa.
got that swag, right? You see
You saw the
the way
suit.
he enters the room. Like, I think he could be Reggie Miller.
You think this
All
guy
right.
could be Reggie Miller? Oh, okay.
I think he
All
could be
right.
Reggie Miller, man.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. Let's move on.
Yeah.
The Syracuse Sparrows is making their last pick here. At number 15. Some potentially nice names still on the board. Um, what did you have mocked here, Killer?
I mean, I had Jet Howard, but this is like obviously Derek Lively here with him being
Mm.
available here, and it's insane for him to get him at the 15th spot. Given, I thought maybe he should have considered him at 11. I mean, even as early as 7, possibly.
This is actually where I had grade A, aka Reggie Miller, going to Syracuse at the 15. So,
Oh, you
but
you wanted the dick later?
I didn't say I want it. I didn't say anything about wanting dick.
He said Spirals want to dig later.
Uh, what's the pick,
Uh,
man? What's the pick? Kobe,
Buffkin.
Kobe
Okay.
Bean,
Okay.
Buffkin,
Okay.
Kobe Buffkin. So, okay,
Where you going, killer?
you don't,
what
where
are
you
we
going,
doing
bro?
here? What are we doing here?
Yo, this is the kid that played in Michigan, right?
Oh,
I
Kobe,
mean,
this is Kobe
he's
from Michigan, right?
yeah, it ain't Kobe, the late Kobe Bryant.
You mean your comp is not Kobe for this one?
I didn't even come up with a comp for Kobe Buffkin.
Okay.
oh,
Well,
oh,
what
man.
do you think about this pick, Odin?
Um, I I think if Lively wasn't still on the board, it would have been an okay pick.
Speechless.
Um, yeah, I feel like because I had Buffkin going at 16 to Boston Bombers, but I mean I'm looking at Kobe's stats. I mean 48 from field goal, 85 from the free throw, 35 and a half from three pointer. He has good percentages, but outside of scoring, like what does the dude do? Like he's
Buckets. Buckets, bro.
even still he only averaged 14 points a game in college. So it's not even like he's tearing the world, setting the world on fire. So I don't know.
Okay.
It was an okay pick if Lively wasn't available. The fact that Lively was available, I give this a D.
Okay. Okay. That's
Trey
fair.
Young and DeJounte Murray are like on that team. Like there's no opportunities.
Right.
You can always be a third guard, bro. You could always be
A
or a
third
fourth guard.
guard.
Bogdan
Bogdanovich
is
is
there, fourth
still
guard.
there, so he could be
Yeah.
a fourth guard. Um, but Kobe's got some potential, and with 3 picks, I mean, I'm surprised that Lively was not picked here, but or with one of those 3 picks, I'm surprised by that, but maybe not. Maybe Lively's a bum.
Maybe.
You
Yeah,
ever think
maybe.
you ever think
Maybe.
Lively might be a bum?
I'm pretty high on him, and I saw some tape of him over in some runs, and the dude was killing it. So I'm pretty high on him.
Well,
Yeah.
we got the last pick here, and it is the Boston Bombers. Um, any uh any predictions here, Killer? What do you think?
The Bombers is not fucking around, man. They're choosing, and I'm sorry for the kids at home. They're choosing Derek Lively here, man. They're not playing any of these games, man. And I think this is an absolute steal, just like the Gotham Great Danes did last year, getting J Dub at this spot.
Mm,
So
some big shoes
Lively
to
is the
fill.
pick.
Big shoes to fill there, but the pick is in, and it is Derek Lively, the
A
second.
plus, A plus.
Mhm.
Odin, you clearly like the pick.
Yep.
Tell us more about what you see with Lively.
Lively is a straight up lob threat right off the bat, man. Like you have Luca there feeding him the ball. You know, he runs like he runs the floor like a beast. He's quick, you know,
Hmm.
for a center. He can actually play D out on the perimeter, which is rare for a center. So I
Mm,
can see him developing into, a Claxton type player. Um, not as good handles as Claxton, but a defensive shot blocker, steal magnet, and then also just a disruptor. And catching lobs left and right, and
hmm.
running alongside his fast playing guards because they also got Kyrie there, so they're going to be playing fast. So
What's your comp? What's your comp for this guy?
my comp for him, I would say um, his floor would be a player like a young Capella, or actually no, Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney for his floor, which is still a serviceable big, but his ceiling obviously I would say Tyson Chandler for his ceiling.
Okay. What about you, Killer?
I agree. Yeah, I had Tyson Chandler at his as his ceiling. Um,
Hmm.
Another player that came to mind as his floor, uh, Jaleel Okafor. I don't know if you
Mm.
guys remember him.
Okafor's a plotter
Uh,
though, Nora, right? He was a
Okafor
plotter. He
was
wasn't as quick.
Okafor was a power scorer. I don't see
I
that
mean,
for Lively,
Right.
but
He was more back to the basket, Okafor was.
yeah, back
that's
to the basket
yeah,
kind of guy.
Yeah.
Here's the guy who
that's
I
true.
here's the guy who I see for Lively. Brooke Lopez. Not Brooke
Ooh.
Lopez, not young Brooke Lopez, but current Brooke Lopez. I see that being kind of his range right there. I think he once he gets more confident with his shot, I think he can I think he could shoot. I think he's got some range. I don't know if he'll play that role. I don't know what Dallas will let him do. Jason Kidd is, I think, probably open to seeing more things, but obviously he can block shots. A guy who could stretch the floor. He's what, like 7'4", 7'3", 7'2". I don't know. This guy seems tall, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's tall.
He
I
looks
think
like
he's
he's
seven.
legit center size. He's legit
Yeah, I
center
think he's
size.
7'1".
Okay, 7'1".
Yeah, 7'1".
He's legit center size. I think it's gonna take him a while though. I don't see him playing much this year. This is a veteran team. I think they have. I personally, I mean, I haven't seen Rashawn Holmes play in a while, but I don't think he's a bad player. Um, that won't be able to get on the floor and take up a lot of those minutes. I think that was a good signing for Dallas, and they still have Dwight Powell, and they still have Maxi Kleber that also runs at the five. I don't see Derek
Yeah,
Lively playing that much, but I think Lively has some skill, and I think if they let him develop, I think he's going to be good in like 2 3 years. Maybe he will make an impact this year. I don't know, but I like his skill set, and I think what he potentially could become. I'm stuck on the Brooke Lopez comparison. I love Brooke too, so
yeah. He's not
um
much of a shooter though. He's not much of a shooter,
yeah, he
but
can
I
I
shoot
mean,
guess
though.
he can get there.
He can shoot.
he showed it in one of
He
his
won't.
workout videos,
Huh?
like that he had like 3 point range, and
He has
yeah,
some
that
range.
video was like trending like on
Okay.
social media,
You're not
something
gonna
like
see it though. You're not gonna
Yeah.
see it initially though. I think it's gonna take a while before they even let him be doing that stuff out there. But I think you know, I think he's got some potential there to become like a future book. Look, if Grade A Dick could become Reggie Miller, then I think this guy can become Brook Lopez. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just
I
gonna.
mean, not everybody can become Brook Lopez, which is the all-time leading scorer for the Brooklyn Nets. Like, I mean,
But
we've
everyone,
had some great players, right? And Brook Lopez is still the all-time leading net scorer, right? And people probably remember him more playing for the Bucks than they do the Nets.
Yep.
but it is the Brooklyn Nets, and Reggie Miller is a Hall of Fame player. I'll just remind you of that.
Yeah, he played during a different era.
Oh, oh, here we go.
Just saying.
So he's a Hall of Fame, man. Whether he played with plumbers or not.
I'm just saying, he just played during a different time, right?
So
Yeah.
are you gonna be trading for Dick?
Um, I'm gonna look into it.
Okay. Okay. Let us know how that goes. Let's see where we ended up in this draft, man.
Oh, ouch.
We were terrible.
Damn.
Not good. Not
Oh,
good. Not good at
uh,
all.
well, you
But I did
won.
win.
You won.
We knew you win from the top because you're not a betting man, Dave.
Right. He
I
said
know,
he asked
yeah.
me for a
I
wager.
know. Well,
You
I
talking
was just
about wages?
I was just curious. I wasn't gonna bet none, but I was just curious what you were willing to bet.
Oh man. He try to set you up, killer.
Yeah,
Oh, you know it. You
I
know
just
it.
wanted to set you up, man. Yeah, so we didn't get anything right after pick 9.
Brutal.
So I don't know.
Brutal.
I mean, I think maybe some guys that we didn't expect to fall fell, and that's gonna happen. So what let me ask you this. What is besides Wemby and Scoot, what is the best pick you feel? What's the best pick in this draft so far, given the where the pick was made?
I would I would have to say um hmm, I'd say Jerace Walker or Lively would be my two picks, but I would go with Jerace Walker because I mean he could have went fourth. He could have went fourth in the actual draft, and people were really high on him. So I
Hmm.
really like Solid State grabbing Jerace Walker there. Then Boston Bombers grabbing Lively at the very end was just like a holy crap moment. So,
Yeah.
but we already
Yep.
beat that one like a dead horse. But so I'll go with Jerace.
Okay. Killer.
I like Kason Wallace at 11. I think that's really good value. Lively is just an obvious one for me. I share a similar take as Odin. Um, and I mean, I'm kind of getting convinced on Jet Howard at number 6, man. I think,
Oh, tell us more.
you know, I just think there's just something special about having a father that kind of played in the NBA system. Um, maybe that transition is a lot smoother, and maybe he'll be in the right system in Orlando so that he can thrive and be a very good NBA player.
Fair enough. So, on the flip of the coin, what do you feel the worst pick was in this draft?
Jet Howard.
Okay, two very so Jet Howard's clearly a very polarizing
Jet
pick.
Jet Howard Jet Howard I had at 15, and I feel like he was a really good pick at 15. Yes, I like the fact that his father was an NBA player, but his father wasn't the NBA player. His father was Juwan Howard, who was a decent player, a starter, but you know, um, if if he was taking a chance on drafting Michael Jordan's son or Bronny James that early, then yeah, I would say something. All right, sure, father's an all time great, but
But
we're talking.
wait a minute. Usually, when you draft the son, you usually want the father to not be that great of a player or not be that good of an NBA player, if you get what I mean. I mean, if you think about the last couple of examples, Kobe Bryant, uh, Del Curry, right? Who
You
else
know,
is coming to mind?
I mean Brunson as well.
Brunson, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're right. You're
right?
right. You're
Like,
right. You're
like
right.
I think it kind of gives you like, yo, I can beat that. Like, that
Yeah.
ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, right where
That's
it's like,
fair. That's fair.
you're comparing to like a LeBron or a Michael Jordan. You're just like,
Yeah,
man,
screw it.
I'm over from the start.
I'm not getting there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Okay. All
All
right.
right. All right. Fair enough. So Kyle, what do you see as the worst pick here?
And Kobe Buffkin, man, that's just not the pick, in my
Or
opinion. And I think there's going to be some suffering from the Sparrows holding up that roster spot with Kobe Buffkin.
well, we'll see. Sparrows might have some moves they want to make. I mean, maybe filling up the roster with all these young guys maybe is not the move. They're gonna have a lot of money in the off season, so they're gonna need some roster spots. So maybe they can make some relocation opportunities for these guys, and we'll see some roster spots open up. All right, so thanks guys for your feedback. Here is the class of 2023 incoming rookies. Looking forward to see how many of them end up in the waiver wire, and possibly on my team. So um, we'll end it right there, and we'll have some announcements for you guys as far as the deadline, the keeper deadline will come up. And we'll announce the free auction, free agency draft date coming up. So a lot of new rules this year, but I think after these picks are revealed, we might see some extra movement come about. So good draft, good conversation, guys.
Yep. Appreciate you having me, man.
Word.
Yeah.
All right, well, peace until next time, y'all.
All right.